Well, hello, and welcome to an episode of Stress Management 101. And what I want to talk about today in particular is stress and work. Now, part of the stress of work is the fact that it requires our bodies to be still for hours at a time in many cases. For a lot of us, whether we are in corporate America or if we are a solo entrepreneur that works at home, chances are it's very likely that we spend a lot of time in front of a computer, which means we're not moving a whole lot, right? But yet, as humans, we're designed for movement. So sitting in one position does cause a lot of aches and pains. And over the long haul, it can certainly lead to overall poor health. Now, the good news is it is entirely impossible to keep your body happy and healthy during your workday. And I'm going to share a few tips for just how to do that. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Kat D'Onofrio, and I am the owner of Kat D Wellness. I am your rebel wellness coach who helps busy women to kick the diet habit and achieve the happy and healthy life that you so deserve. So now let's get started. Let's start with tip number 1, and that is to change up the way you sit. So constantly keeping your body in the same position adds to wear and tear. Now, while you may need to sit in front of your computer for several hours a day, you can change your sitting position, and your body will certainly thank you for it. One example of something you could do is, if it's comfortable enough, to sit cross-legged in your chair. Or you could bring one heel up onto the seat of your chair, hold that position for a few minutes, and then alternate and switch legs. Or if you can sit on the floor for periods of time. And if you are sitting on the floor, you can alternate between sitting in a wide-legged straddle for a few minutes or bring the soles of your feet together. Tip number 2, stand up and stretch out. Now, alternating between standing and sitting is a great way to vary your position and create more opportunities for movement. Now, you don't need to transition to a standing desk when you can simply create one using a box, piling up some books, and stand while you're making a phone call or while you're checking your emails. When you're standing, have something to put your foot on. And that way you can shift your weight and keep moving throughout the day by alternating, putting one foot and then the other on top of that box or other object. Now, if you spend most of your days reaching for a keyboard, getting your arms over your head will counteract this while also expanding your breathing capacity and strengthening your overall core muscles. Now, how about if every time you entered a room, you reached up to tap the top of the doorway? Or you could raise your elbows to shoulder height and bring your forearms out and press them against the inside of the door frame. Now, you might look a little bit like you're in a stick-em-up position, so that might get you a few laughs from your coworkers, but that's okay because they probably need the laugh anyway. But if you're not blocking anyone's way and not causing too much of a disturbance in your office, hold that position with your forearms for a few breaths and then proceed to walk into the room. Tip number 3, kick off your shoes. Now, you don't have to move your entire body to rack up movement points. You can move some of your individual parts more. So, for example, did you know that you have 33 joints in your feet? And they never see very much action because they're typically stuck in some rather inflexible shoes, right? So when you can, take your shoes off, and that'll allow those joints to spread. And for even more movement, you could keep a tennis ball handy and then roll one foot at a time over the top of the ball, and that will stretch those joints and the over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments that hold them all together. Plus, it's a nice little foot massage that just kind of feels good. Tip number 4, walk more. Sneak more steps in wherever you can. For example, if you need to talk to a coworker and you are in an office setting, take the 20 steps to their desk instead of sending them an email or an instant message. Have walking meetings. Drink plenty of water so that you continually have to walk to the bathroom. One complaint I get from a lot of my clients when I'm working with them and working with them to drink more water that we all know we desperately need is that when they drink more water, that means they have to get up and go to the bathroom more, and it's so annoying. Well, my immediate response is always, well, then you're getting a twofer because you're getting the water you need to drink and you're getting more of the steps in that you also need to take every day. So look on the bright side. Also, you can take a break between tasks to cruise around the office or go up and down a flight of stairs or simply walk down the hall and back from your office in your home. Tip number 5, relieve your eyes. A lot of us tend to forget that we have eye muscles as well, right? So looking at something like a screen that many of us do many days of the week, that screen is always the same distance away, it actually weakens the muscles of our eyes and makes it harder for us to see things that are at different distances. So to refresh your eye muscles, take a break from staring at your screen every 15 minutes or so to look at something far away. Ideally, look outside a window that might be in the room. But even glancing just across the room or out the doorway to the room that you're in, into the hall, will definitely help to prevent fatigue and preserve your vision over the long term. So those are my 5 tips, and hopefully you'll all agree that each of them are things that are very simple to adopt, right? But they will go over time a long way to helping you keep moving and stay nimble. So quickly, I'm just going to revisit the 5 tips again. So tip number 1 is to change the way you sit. Tip number 2, stand up and stretch out. Tip 3, kick off your shoes. Tip 4, walk more. And tip 5, relieve your eyes. And if you need help in reminding yourself to do these things, set yourself a reminder or some sort of a timer on your watch or a desk clock or something, just until it becomes a habit. And if you like these tips that I've shared today and you'd like to get more information like this from me, you can either join my private Facebook group, and that is called Living Life Perfectly Imperfectly. You can look for that. I also have a business page on Facebook, which can link you to my group as well. But my Facebook business page is www.facebook.com/CatD Wellness Coaching. And you can also check out my website at www.catdwellness.com. So again, I hope you enjoyed this information, and feel free to check out my other online locations. Take care.